The text that ended everything. I didn't mean to destroy a family, but that's exactly what happened when I told my boyfriend his brother had been sexting me. And the worst part, no one believes me, not even him. It started 6 months ago when things between me and my boyfriend, Ethan, were comfortable. Not perfect, just comfortable. We'd been together for 2 years. We lived in a small apartment above a coffee shop. We fought sometimes, but it was never serious. I thought we had something real. Then his brother, Caleb, moved back to town. Caleb was the kind of guy who made people nervous without meaning to. Too confident, too charming, too aware of himself. At first, I thought I was just imagining the way he looked at me. Too long, too often. I told myself it was in my head. He'd flirt casually, say things like, "You sure my brother deserves someone like you?" And I'd laugh it off. Ethan always brushed it away, too. "That's just Caleb," he'd say. He jokes like that with everyone. But jokes don't come with late-night messages. It started with a photo, not a nude, at least not right away. Just a picture of his dinner with a caption, "Wish you were here instead of Ethan." I replied with a single word, "Weird." He didn't stop. The next day, "You looked incredible yesterday. That dress should be illegal." The day after that, "If you ever get tired of him, I'd treat you better." I blocked him. Then he started messaging me from another account. When I showed Ethan the screenshots, he laughed. "I know Caleb. He wouldn't do that," he said. "He's just messing around. He doesn't mean it." "Messing around?" I repeated. "He's harassing me." Ethan sighed. "Just ignore him. Don't make drama." That word, drama, stuck to me like poison, so I did what he asked. I ignored it for a while, until one night when I got a message that made my skin crawl. It was a photo, explicit, no words this time, just his face and a message after, "Imagine if that was yours instead of his." My stomach dropped. I didn't reply. I didn't breathe. I didn't even move. Then my phone buzzed again. Another message. "You won't tell him. You like the attention too much." That was the night something in me broke. I packed a bag, went to my friend's place, and called Ethan. "Your brother's disgusting," I said, voice shaking. "I'm done. I'm leaving." He went quiet for a few seconds, then said, "If you leave, don't bother coming back." Click. That was it. 2 years. Gone because I refused to stay silent about his brother. I thought I'd done the right thing, but then the texts started spreading. Someone, probably Caleb, sent edited screenshots to Ethan's friends. In them, it looked like I had been flirting back, as if I'd been leading him on, teasing him, then playing the victim when things got risky. The messages weren't even that well faked, wrong punctuation, different texting style, but when you want to believe someone's guilty, you don't need evidence. Suddenly, I was the problem. The liar, the girl who wanted attention. A week later, Ethan's mom texted me. Yes, his mother. "Please stay away from our family. You've hurt my sons enough." I remember sitting there, staring at that message, realizing how easily truth dies when it's inconvenient. Months passed. I moved out of town, blocked Caleb everywhere, changed my number. But I still check my phone sometimes at night, half expecting another unknown number, another accidentally sent photo. Trauma doesn't disappear. It just quiets down until something reminds you it's there. Then, 3 weeks ago, I got a call from Ethan. After a year of silence, his voice sounded small, broken. "Hey," he said, "I need to talk to you." I didn't want to, but something in his tone, guilt, regret, something heavy, made me listen. He said, "Caleb's in trouble. He got caught sending photos to another girl. Underage." My chest tightened. Underage. He hesitated. 17. There it was. Proof. The truth I'd been screaming about. Finally undeniable. I thought I'd feel vindicated. I didn't. I just felt tired. Then he said something that nearly broke me. "I should have believed you." I didn't say anything, because what do you say to that? "Thanks for realizing a year too late." He kept talking. "He's trying to blame you, you know. Says you set him up. My parents believe him." I laughed. A dry, broken laugh. Of course they did. Some lies are too comforting to let go. Before hanging up, he asked, "Do you still hate me?" I wanted to say yes, but the truth is, I don't hate him. I hate that he chose his brother's comfort over my pain. I hate that he made me question my sanity. I hate that he didn't protect me, and now has the one asking for forgiveness. So I told him the truth. I don't hate you. I just don't trust you anymore. He started crying. I didn't. After the call, I sat in the dark, thinking about all the damage one man can cause by refusing to see the monster in his own family. Caleb wasn't just a predator. He was a mirror, showing everyone who they really were when forced to choose between truth and comfort. Ethan chose comfort. His parents chose denial. And I chose survival. A few days later, I got a message from an unknown number. You ruined my life. It'll ruin yours. No name. But I didn't need one. It was him. Caleb. He might have lost everything. But so did I. Because no matter how far I run, there's always that whisper in the back of my head that maybe I was the villain in someone else's story. That maybe Tathan's family will always be the girl who broke them apart. Even if all I did was tell the truth. Part E. The house that denial built 3 months after that phone call. I got the email. It was from Ethan's mother. The subject line read, "We need to talk about Caleb." At first, I thought it was a trap. The same woman who told me to stay away from their family suddenly wanted to talk. I almost deleted it. But curiosity, that stupid, dangerous curiosity, made me open it. Inside, there was just one line. Has saying things about you, and I don't know what's true anymore. It took me a full day to decide whether to reply. Then, I did something I promised myself I'd never do again. I drove back to that town. The same streets, the same coffee shop under our old apartment. Everything looked frozen, like my absence hadn't even left a mark. When I pulled up to the Bennett family house, I nearly turned around. But then I saw her, Ethan's mom, Marlene, standing by the door. She looked older, thinner, smaller. "Thank you for coming," she said softly. Her voice wasn't sharp like before. It was cracked. Inside, the house felt wrong. Family photos on the wall, but some frames were turned face down. An empty whiskey glass on the counter, and a tension so thick it made the air hard to breathe. Marlene motioned for me to sit. Then she said the last thing I ever expected to hear: Caleb was arrested. I froze. My hands went cold. "For the girl?" I whispered. She nodded slowly. Her parents pressed charges. Possession of explicit material involving a minor. I swallowed. "And Ethan?" She hesitated. "Has broken. He doesn't talk to anyone. He blames himself." I should have felt relief, justice, closure, but instead I just felt hollow, because even though Caleb was gone, his shadow was still here, inside this house, wrapped around all of them. Then Marlene said something strange. "He told us something before they took him away." I didn't want to ask, but she kept going. "He said you and he were together before Ethan, that you started it." My mouth went dry. "That's a lie," I said quietly. "I know," she said. "At least I want to know." But he had messages, screenshots, things that looked convincing. I clenched my fists. "Has a manipulator. He edits everything. You know that." She nodded, but her eyes were unreadable. "I don't know what to believe anymore," she whispered. And that was when I realized she didn't call me here for truth. She called me here for absolution. She wanted me to tell her that she hadn't raised a monster, but I couldn't give her that. Then Ethan walked in. He looked different, thinner, tired. His eyes, once so gentle, were bloodshot, almost lifeless. He froze when he saw me. "Why are you here?" he asked quietly. His voice was calm, but it had an edge I'd never heard before. "Your mom asked me to come," I said. He let out a humorless laugh. "Of course she did. She wants to fix what can't be fixed." He sat down across from me. No hello, no small talk. Then he said, "You were right. About everything." My heart stuttered. "I know that doesn't fix anything," he added. "But I can't sleep. I keep seeing his messages. The way he talked about you. Like you were a trophy he almost won." Marlene stood silently, wringing her hands. Then Ethan said something he'll never forget. Mom knew. The room went still. Marlene's eyes widened. "Ethan, stop." He ignored her. She knew he was messaging girls before. She covered it up, said it was a phase. I turned slowly toward her. "Is that true?" She opened her mouth, then closed it. Tears filled her eyes. "I thought it would stop," she whispered. "He was my baby. I thought if I just ignored it, he'd grow out of it." Ethan's voice broke. "You let him hurt people, Mom. You let him hurt her." Marlene started crying. But I couldn't feel sympathy, because I remembered the texts, the photos, the way everyone called me a liar. And now the truth was bleeding out right in front of them. I said quietly, "You destroyed me to protect him." She nodded, trembling. "I know." I stood up. I didn't yell. I didn't cry. I just looked at her and said, "Then live with it." And I walked out. A week later, Ethan called again. He said his mom had a breakdown. She was in therapy. He said he was trying to move on. Then he asked, "Can I see you?" Just once, to say goodbye properly. I shouldn't have gone. But part of me still wanted closure, a final page to the story that had ruined me. So I met him at a park, the same place we had our first date. It was autumn again. The air smelled the same, that faint mix of rain and regret. We sat on the bench in silence for a while. He looked at me like someone trying to memorize a ghost. Then he said, "I loved you, you know. Even when I didn't believe you, I still loved you. I just couldn't face what believing you meant." I didn't answer. There was nothing to say, because believing me would have meant tearing his family apart, and he wasn't ready for that. Before leaving, he handed me an envelope. "I found this in Caleb's things," he said. "I think it was meant for you." I hesitated, then took it. Inside was a single photograph. It was me, from 2 years ago, at Ethan's birthday. Someone had written on the back in messy, slanted handwriting, "You should have picked me." My stomach twisted, because suddenly I realized something awful. Caleb had taken that photo before everything started, had been obsessed long before I ever noticed, and no one had seen it. That night, I burned the photo, not out of anger, but because I needed to stop giving that ghost space to live. Then I deleted every message, every picture, every trace of them from my phone. A digital exorcism, but the memories didn't burn so easily. Sometimes I still dream of that first text, the one that said, "Wish you were here instead of Ethan." And when I wake up, I still feel that same cold realization, that in a house full of secrets, truth is the only thing no one wants to keep. Part I, secrets buried and blooded. Had been a year since I left Ethan and Caleb behind. A year of silence, of rebuilding myself, of pretending the memories didn't haunt me. But silence is fragile, and sometimes the past doesn't just whisper, it screams. It started with a call from Ethan. His voice was low, almost shaking. "You need to come over." Mom, she confessed something about Caleb, something you need to know. I wanted to hang up. I wanted to say no. I told myself it wasn't my problem anymore. But curiosity, that dangerous, inevitable curiosity, won. I arrived at their old house. It looked smaller somehow, like grief had shrunk it. Marlene opened the door. Her eyes were hollow, dark circles under them. She looked older than she should have, like the weight of years of lies had carved lines in her face. "Come in," she whispered. Inside, Ethan sat at the kitchen table, hands clasped, jaw tight. "Sit," Marlene said, almost like a command. I did. She looked at me, trembling, and said, "I should have told you the truth from the beginning." I stayed silent. Caleb, he wasn't the first girl he did this to. I felt the blood drain from my face. I know it's hard to hear. He started when he was 14. I found out, tried to stop it, but her voice cracked. "Your situation you were just lucky enough to notice early." I wanted to scream. I wanted to run. But the words pinned me to the chair. "And I lied to protect him," she continued. "I told everyone he was joking. I told Ethan you were overreacting. I told myself it would stop if I ignored it. But it never did. Ethan's head fell into his hands. I didn't want to believe it," he muttered. "I didn't want to see my brother as a predator. I wanted to hate him. I wanted to shake him. But my heart knew the real betrayal had always been buried deeper. I should have told you," Marlene whispered. "I should have gone to the police. I should have done something. But I wanted my family intact. I wanted my sons whole." I didn't answer, because suddenly I understood. It wasn't just Caleb who had betrayed me. It was everyone who had stood silent, who had chosen comfort over truth. Then Ethan spoke. "You have to know," he said slowly, "Caleb's obsession didn't start with me. It started with Mom covering for him. Has been manipulating everyone his whole life. And now he looked at me, eyes raw. Now has trying to rebuild his power. You leaving him didn't stop him. It only made him angrier." That's when the email arrived. It was from an unknown account. The subject line read, "I see you." Inside, a single sentence. "You think you escaped. You didn't. You'll never escape me." I knew immediately who it was. Caleb. My stomach twisted. It wasn't just a threat. It was a promise. Over the next weeks, I became hyperware. Every text, every call, every knock at the door made me jump. Every shadow in the apartment looked like him. Every stranger looked like an intruder. And then, one night, I found the note slipped under my door. "Meet me. Midnight. Park. Alone, or she suffers." She. It didn't take long to figure out he meant Leela. a girl from my past. A mutual friend I had told him nothing about. One didn't call the police. I couldn't, not yet. Instead, I prepared. I gathered cameras, recordings, everything I could to document him. I was going to face him. Finally, the park at midnight was quiet, fog rolling over the grass like smoke. I saw him standing there, taller, broader, darker than I remembered. He smiled. "Did you miss me?" I didn't flinch. "You're done, Caleb," I said. "This ends tonight." He laughed. "You think you can stop me? You walked away from me, Ethan, from me, and yet here you are. Still afraid, still alone." I raised my phone. Camera rolling. "I'm not afraid anymore." He lunged at me. I dodged, and then I hit him hard once, twice. He staggered back, dazed. "You'll regret this," he hissed. "I own everything. I own them. You don't get to win." I pressed record anyway. "No. You lost the moment you crossed me." Hours later, he was arrested. The police had the recordings, his threats, everything documented. Ethan called the next morning. "I don't know how to thank you," he said quietly. "You saved everyone from him." I didn't answer, because the truth was, I didn't save anyone. I survived, and sometimes survival isn't victory. Months later, I got a letter from Marlene. "Thank you for being brave, for being stronger than all of us." I folded it carefully, put it in a drawer. I never replied, because bravery doesn't need thanks. It only needs to be remembered by yourself. And sometimes when I lie in bed at night, I still hear his voice. "You can't escape me." I don't. I just remind myself I did escape, and am still standing, and that's enough.